Hi guys. Hello everybody. I am not sure how this is going to work this time. I've done this once before, but I will try it again. I'm going to try to present my vocabulary slideshow to you while I've got myself up here in the corner. I'm going to try to make myself a little smaller so that you can see both. Oh yeah, there I am. Okay. So I'm going to tuck myself up here in the corner, and I'm going to proceed with this week's words. First of all, I just want to say great job last week with so many of you finishing your assignments. Many of you sent pictures of your workbook pages to me and uploaded them right to Google Classroom. That was fantastic. If you're not sure how to do that, I suggest taking a look at the cheat sheet that I'm going to be sending home, actually that you should have in the next delivery of materials. So that would mean that you already have it by the time that you see this video. So that will give you some clues on how to upload pictures. If your parent has Google Classroom on their phone, then you can take a picture with that phone. If you have it on an iPad, you can take the picture right on your iPad and upload it into Google Classroom very easily. And that should be a way to get you guys started with uploading those assignments if you haven't done that already. Don't email them to me. You can skip right over that step. You can upload them right into the Google Classroom. So this week we are on Lesson 9 for Wordly Wise. I'm going to try to present my slideshow now, so let's see if I can do that. And I hope you can still see me. If you can't, you can just listen to my voice. So our first word can be found on page 99 in your Wordly Wise book. It's the start of the glossary. The first word is advantage. An advantage is something that is helpful or useful to you. So, we've got a turtle running a race. Oh boy. What's something that might be helpful or useful to that turtle? How about we strap a rocket to its shell? That would be helpful. That would create quite an advantage for that turtle. Absolutely. Okay. So another way that the word advantage could be used is to take advantage of. So that's a verb that means to make use of, to benefit oneself by treating others unfairly. So take advantage of, if I say, okay, I'm going to leave a box of colored pencils on everyone's desk. You can take advantage of those by using them to help your illustrations be more colorful. That would be a positive use of the term to take advantage of. To take advantage of could also be used in a negative connotation, which could mean that it could be treating someone else unfairly so that you have gained some type of an advantage. Okay? The second word on our list this week is astonish. And astonish means to surprise or amaze. If you have astonishment, that could mean that you have great surprise or amazement. So it could be a verb or a noun. The next word is confirm. Confirm. If you confirm something, that means you can show or prove it to be true. All right? If someone was out of school, they could provide a medical note that would confirm that they were where they said they were. It can also mean to approve or give one's agreement to. Okay? Pizza, so if you were having a vote in class, if you check the box for pizza, that means that you give an agreement if you think that we should have pizza for a party. Okay? Distant is the next word. If something is distant, it is very far away in time. It can also mean that something is very far away or not nearby. Okay? So if I say, yes, we will be able to have our end of the year party in the distant future, which means very far away in time. Okay? So that's the way that distance can be used as it relates to time, but it could also mean an actual physical distance. So two spaces that have a lot of room between them could be distant from each other. Okay? Distance is the length of space between two places. So if I say the distance between school and my house is about 1/4 of a mile, I'm talking about the actual space in between both of those places, distance. The next word is founder. Founder means a person who sets up something that lasts. Okay? One of the founders of our country was George Washington. I don't know why, for some reason. I don't know, maybe because there used to be commercials, but I always can remember the name of, Wendy's, the restaurant, not like the one that we have in town here, but Wendy's, the fast food place with hamburgers and french fries and stuff. The founder of Wendy's was a guy named Dave Thomas, because Dave Thomas used to get on and do the commercials for that restaurant, and he always mentioned how he was the founder. So you guys know, it always comes back to food for me, so I always think of that when I think of the founder of that restaurant. Wendy's is still around, so that's a good example of a person who set something up that lasts, just like George Washington. Founder can also be a verb, so it could also mean if something is, or someone is foundering, then that means that they are sinking below the surface. So here we see a picture of a submarine, and it must have gone under the water, so it went foundering below. Okay? The next is the word hamlet. Hamlet is a small village. If any of you live in Brainardsville, that would be considered a hamlet, I think. Not quite big enough to be like the village of Chateauguay. It's a little bit smaller than that village, so it's referred to as a hamlet, a small little area. There's probably some houses, maybe a business, a couple of businesses, but a hamlet is usually smaller than what we would traditionally recognize as a village or even a town. They just shrunk the size of the village for you there. Host is the next word. Host. You might have heard that word before, but maybe not in this meaning. Host can mean a large number. So, for example, I might say that there are a host of restaurants closed at this time because of COVID-19. Okay, a large number of. It can also mean one who greets and entertains guests and takes care of their needs at a party or restaurant. So you might remember back to that word entertain we had. To entertain means that you have guests over, you have some type of a party or a get-together, some type of social gathering. The person who is doing the entertaining would be considered the host. If you're having an event at your house, you are the host. Oftentimes you'll see restaurants will have hosts, especially fancy restaurants. They will just be someone to greet you to the restaurant. They aren't your waiter or waitress. They are not the person cooking the food. They are simply there to greet you and make sure that you are feeling welcome when you get there. The next word is misgiving. Misgiving. Misgiving is a negative feeling usually. It's a feeling of doubt, uncertainty, or concern about something that might happen in the future. Okay, so I'm sure that originally when we had our first school closure, many of you had misgivings about when we would be coming back to school. You may not have had any certainty about when you'd be able to come back to your class. We have a little bit of a better idea this time, so hopefully your misgivings are less when it comes to that topic. But misgiving is that feeling of doubt or uncertainty that you may feel. The next word is parch. Parch. To make or to become dry. That sun has the ability to parch something. If you are parched, then you are lacking water, and you might be the one who's thirsty. So plants, people, even dried up riverbeds here can be parched. They're lacking the water that they need, or they are thirsty. That gentleman looks parched. The next word is prospect. Prospect is something that is waited for, expected, or hoped for. Okay, the prospect of Christmas or getting something for Christmas could be that feeling that you're waiting for something or expecting or hoping for something. It's a prospect. It can also be a verb, which means to look in the ground for valuable metals like gold or silver. So there are people called prospectors who look in the ground for valuable metals like gold or silver. Here's a picture of a guy. He's got that little tin pan in his hand, and they would reach that tin pan down into the riverbeds, and they would shake it out, and they'd get rid of all the sand, and they were hoping to find usually gold, silver, other types of precious metals that might be available in the ground, and sometimes washing in through rivers and streams. A prospector is a person who explores an area to look for valuable metals. So these two go together. The next word is scarce. Scarce. If something is scarce, it does not necessarily have to do with the word scary, although some people can make that connection. If something is scarce, what it means is it's in short supply. It's not plentiful. We don't have a lot of it. Okay? For some reason, toilet paper has been scarce during the COVID-19 pandemic. I don't know why that people have been so quick to scoop up all the toilet paper, but it has been scarce. People have had a hard time finding it when they go to grocery stores and other places of where they sell it. It's been scarce. There hasn't been very much of it. The shelves have been empty. In other words, there's been a shortage. Thankfully, we've seen that kind of come back around where you can get toilet paper if you need it. I think I missed one of the forms of that word, but scarcity can mean that there's a shortage. So if I said there's a scarcity of toilet paper, that means there is none on the shelves. The next word is shrewd. Shrewd reminds me of another word from one of our previous lists, but if you are clever or good at understanding what is needed and acting on it, then you might be described as someone who is shrewd. There was another word that we had where the meaning was being good at playing tricks on people. It's kind of like that. If you're shrewd, someone may describe you as crafty, which was our vocab word. So if you're good at understanding what's needed and acting on it, someone may describe you as shrewd or clever in the way that you are good at taking action when needed to be. A lot of times you'll hear people describe businessmen or women that are shrewd. They are good at figuring out what's needed to make their businesses successful. The next word is soul. A couple different meanings for the word soul. The first is being the only one of its kind or belonging to only one person or group. Okay, we see here a picture of the earth. Okay, the earth. Why do you think they have a picture of the earth there? Well, the earth is a planet that is been the only one that we've discovered so far that's been able to sustain life as we know it. So it's the sole planet in our solar system that's been able to sustain life. There might be others out there. We just haven't discovered them yet. It can also mean the bottom of your foot or of a shoe. The sole of your foot or your shoe is the sole. There's one more meaning for the word soul that we're going to be studying this week, which is a flat fish that's caught and eaten for food. Okay, I've eaten sole before. Some of you may have also. It is a type of fish. You also might be thinking of the other spelling of the word soul, which is S-O-U-L. That is not this meaning. That is not this spelling, rather, and is different meaning than any of the words that we'll be studying. So, but those are the three definitions for the word soul that you need to know for this week. Chapter. The next word on our list is torment. Torment. Any of you who've got younger siblings might be familiar with that word torment because it means to cause great pain and suffering, or great pain and suffering, which is the torment. And it can also mean to cause great pain and suffering. For some reason, I think you guys know this, when all three of my kids get together, they love to torment each other. If you take one of them out of the mix, everybody's fine. But when all three are together, oh boy, they like to torment each other, mentally, physically, any way you can slice it. It could also mean to physically hurt someone. Here's a little image of what it might look in my house some days. I promise, everybody loves each other. The next word is typical. And typical is our last word of the week. Typical, that's like being like any other of its kind. Typical. So every day Jack likes to have his little peanut butter and jelly Uncrustable sandwich for lunch. Every day he likes that. That's just his typical lunch. If I give him something different, he doesn't like it as much. So I stick to what he typically likes, which is peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So that's pretty typical for him. All right. I will upload the new list into Quizlet so that you guys have it and are ready for this new week's lessons and activities. And if you have any questions, please sign into our Google Meet and let me know. All right, everyone, have a great day and week ahead of you, and we'll check back in tomorrow. Have a good one, guys. Took me a really long time to figure out how to turn my camera off. I got it. Have a good one, guys.